So,
Have you gotten a handle on it?
in anticipation of what's to come, I've been playing, and I've been
The old one?
refreshing. And no, current new one.
You got the PS5?
Yes,
Okay, that's a piece
yes.
of
Sorry.
information that helps.
Yes, yes, I did manage to get a discless PS5.
Okay, nice.
Yes, thanks to a very kind person who had an extra one, I was able to acquire that, and so
And then you traded a few of your influence points.
no cold hard cash actually.
Well, no, the influence points is for the offer. It
Sure,
unlocks the
sure,
merchant.
yes, but either way, absolute thanks to Jack for reaching out and being like, hey, I can help you out there. That was fucking very very kind of him, and yes, thanks to Jack, we are now good to go on all the next gen
On
plans.
PS5 content on the channel.
Yes. So what I did was I set it up and I downloaded the things and I did the transfer and then I booted it up and I saw that weird GPU glitch where you boot it up and the screen is all split across and I'm like, hey, that's not good.
Oh,
I've seen that
oh,
problem on other people's Twitters.
sick.
And then I rebooted it and then it went away and I was like, okay. And then I
And
played
that didn't happen.
and then I played and then I was playing in the intro area and then the game froze and then locked up completely and I was like, "Oh, that's sick." And then I
Oh,
rebooted it
that's
and
good.
then I got that multi GPU screen issue again and I'm like,
Oh, you
"Okay,
mean
panic time. Panic time.
good.
Panic
Excellent.
time."
What's the warranty process on I bought it from a dude?
Well, looking up what everyone else has been saying, you can contact Sony, and they do
Yeah.
have a thing where they will basically send you a new one and a box to return the old one in, so that they can repair it. But they send
Same as it
you a
ever was, huh?
right. But like you see, Nintendo used to take your old one and send you back the same one,
Which was terrible. That was a
uh,
terrible solution.
and it took a while, obviously. In this case, it seems like Nintendo. Well, I mean, I think Microsoft is doing it with the Red Rings as well. Like they send you a different one
Yeah.
while you send yours back. However, I've been keeping an eye on it, and in fact, I switched over to like playing a full session of 13 Sentinels, and then I played a bunch more deaths on it, and it's been okay. It's been fine for now, but I'm not holding my breath because I've seen a couple of instances of fucking trouble so far.
Maybe one of those general stability patches fixed your issue.
Maybe. In the meantime, I am not putting it into rest mode because
I
I've
was
read
about to
about
say.
people on
Yeah.
online getting bricked for going into rest mode, and any other thing that's happening. I'm trying to avoid in general. I've turned off all suspend timers and all that shit. I just power the fuck down. I got a weird problem yesterday too, where I think there might be like just like too many signals or too much noise in my living room
There's a
because
lot.
I my controller was having a hard time like registering inputs at a point. It was taking inputs and lagging them and then
Hmm.
sustaining some of them, and it made it like impossible to play for a couple seconds, and then it went away and then came back, and like I just think there's too much
So
shit.
that happened to me when I was playing DMC5, if you
It,
remember.
it, mm,
It turned out that the distance I was sitting was just far enough to cause like the wireless signal on the controller to get fucky. For
mm-hmm.
whatever reason, you have an ungodly amount of wireless interference in your living room specifically,
Yeah. So
which is confusing to me because I have the same amount or more devices of similar wireless shenanigans that you
mm-hmm,
do. The only thing that I can think of that's different is that I'm in a basement.
mm-hmm. And
So there's only so much encroaching wireless from nearby.
now it has decreased in since then, because there was like I had the wireless mics at the time. I'm not using those anymore, and a couple other systems are not in use anymore. But either way, the problem was happening, and I was like, "Fuck, this is happening with the PS5 now." Like I gotta find a way to fix that issue. In the meantime, though, like this is on a entirely new living room essentially, because prior to so yeah, first there was that. I got the XX prior. I told you about that last week. The computer arrived, and all of this shit was just kind of sitting in a weird place where I'm like, okay, I have to rearrange everything for this to work. And the last piece of the puzzle was the television, which has arrived now as well.
What TV did you get? Is it Samsung?
LG OLED 65. And
oh man, that's the good one.
it's the one with the least amount of input lag possible.
I think it's
65.
got like 9 frames or something.
Like,
No, sorry, 9 milliseconds, like sub 1 frame.
On game modes, it said the responsiveness was like at like I think it was at like 13.
I think you have the one that is like #1 rated on DisplayLag.com.
That's exactly where I went to, and I clicked on that button. Yeah. I mean, I'm just if anyone doesn't know, DisplayLag.com. That's where I go. That's where you go, and you see what size TV do you want, and then sort by lowest latency, and then just buy the thing that's there.
Yeah, I ran into the Black Friday / Cyber Monday thing where I'm like, should I upgrade my TV? And discovered that I would love to get the TV that you have, but I can't because I use it as a PC monitor. And using any OLED TV as a PC monitor is a quick trip to destroying that television.
Is it?
Because of because OLEDs are not a problem if you watch varied content, and burn-in does not show up as a problem. But if you're using it as a PC monitor, your taskbar is going to be more or less the same 60-70% of that TV's life cycle.
Okay. I do require it as a monitor for the way my setup is currently, because I basically
Are you using it as your primary computer monitor?
It is for because that's what the new gaming PC is plugged into. But the stream computer is what's in front of me that I can use for like basic quick browsing and shit like that. But like when I'm playing PC games, or if I need to pull up any like video footage or watch anything, I'm using that PC instead. Yeah. So
I would highly then recommend you switch to Windows Dark Mode and Dark Mode for apps.
okay. I also I hide the taskbar as well too, because there's a lot of times we play desktop shit that I want it to be, borderless windowed, and I just need this taskbar out. So, but yeah, in general,
I would also recommend to start using a screensaver again.
Okay, burn-in is an issue to worry about here.
That should mitigate all of those problems.
Okay. I also went back to my old faithful Tron Legacy wallpaper with the that I used to use back in the day with Olivia on it. So good stuff. That's all set up.
That TV has variable refresh rate.
Yes. 60
I'm interested to hear your experience
or
with that.
122. And you can, well, at least on the XX, you can go in and set it directly on what you want the console to be at. And
That's
I fucked around with
in
it on that
for the PS quintuple.
Okay, yeah. I noticed that, and apparently there was some issues with DMC5, like not having if you switch to 122, it would then lock everything to 60 in high frame rate mode on DMC5 SE for Xbox. So like they had to patch to fix that shit. There was some weird bugs happening with it. But yeah, all that fun stuff is there, and 120 rather, not 122. I'm stupid.
So you've been playing Demon Souls.
Yes. And blah. What was I was sorry, you threw me off there. I was in the middle of just saying that like
Yeah.
the full living room setup is all changed and everything's in different places now. And I ended up
Right.
like I had a chest of like I had a shelf that I would put all my consoles on, and I literally rotated it sideways and made that the new TV stand. Um, the TV itself is fucking weird because of how crazy thin it is, and like
Doesn't it weigh like 40 pounds?
it
Like almost nothing.
no, it's heavy. The base is
Oh, it's
fucking
heavy.
hefty. It's absolutely heavy, but it's super thin, and it's so thin that the Wii sensor bar that I'm currently using for
Oh, no, I can't
Mario
look at this.
Galaxy cannot balance on the
No
top of the
way,
fucking
kid.
thing.
It's way thinner than that.
Think about how thin a Wii sensor bar is. It's too thin to put the fucking thing on it. It's crazy. It's wild. So that is now like sitting on the bottom, you know. And this is where we're at. We're at a point where Wii sensor bar tech is now fucking obsolete for this level of television, I suppose. It's sitting on the sound bar in front of the fucking thing because that's the best I can do with it. And I mean, I guess, yeah. The I would like a. It's a unique thing, but like you know how like some TVs have like the whole they have their HDMI inputs. Some are on the rear panel, some are on the side, but
Some
like
are underneath.
yeah, and some are on the left or the right, and I'm just like, God fucking hell! Like, I didn't realize until it got here that the side panels were on the left instead of the right where my last one was. So like, I had to rearrange things again based on not even catching that part of the equation, and it's like, ugh, I just kind of wish there was more, you know. And if you didn't want more, then just allow there to be a way that I could like use these ones on this side instead of that one. It's such a like weird thing, but it's like as these things are getting bigger, it's a lot harder to Anyway, whatever.
It's a big upgrade for your TV.
It is, and I'm very happy with it. And
I mean, you got OLED now. OLED's crazy.
and I did a big old peel of the plastic, and I didn't post it. But if I ever feel like karma farming, I can get some big old Reddit karma for that peeling feeling.
You get some big karma.
Because we got a nice big peel, nice big two-handed peel going. Feels good to see the peel, you know? Yeah, so that's great. Des, I am refreshing, and I'm currently at 2-1, I want to
Yep.
say. I decided I didn't go 1-1, 1-2, and then straight to 3 or 4. I went 1-1, 1-2, 2-1.
I would say that is like not going so deep into them is pretty recommended because those levels get much harder as you go down them.
But
Like it feels like the first level of each world is pretty similar in difficulty.
well, it's quite interesting to like go through it and then after Tower Knight jump over to the quarry instead of the prison and shit, because like yeah, some of those dudes you're swinging at are just fucking like clearly meant to be approached while you're at a higher soul level than you would be after Tower Knight. Magic obviously nullifies some in those cases, but I feel like
Piercing too.
oh yeah, okay,
Yeah, that's the secret is that depending on what you go in with, piercing weapons completely bypass all their defenses.
because I feel like them and the Fat Ministers were just like, I'm like, man, I gotta work on each one of you, really, really
So
hard.
I ran through it twice recently, and had a with 2 different builds, and had a really good appreciation of how they really want you to be able to go to any particular zone in any order, because each zone gives you something that helps you in the other ones.
Right.
So, for
right.
example, 4-1 gives you the Crescent Falchion, which does magic damage, which tears those dudes in 2-1 up. And 5-1 gives you a Blessed Mace, which is incredible against the skeletons in 4-1.
Right. And I imagine
2-1, you get that Crushing Axe, which is your first strength weapon, and you get it for free.
2-1 also gives you oh no, wait, 2-2. I'm at 2-2, not 2-1. I'm at 2-2, excuse me.
You're at 2-2?
Yeah. 2-2 gives you the dragon longsword.
Dragon longsword,
So
which ices everything in the 5th world.
because it's fire, so like so that'll absolutely come in handy. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so you're Mega Manning.
It really feels rewarding, and there's just enough in each of them that if you clear it early, you'll have picked up something that will go, oh, this will be a big help on the other thing.
Okay. I remember I was referring to those Archstones as like Mega Man fucking select screen things, and like, yeah, that's actually more accurate than I thought. Because
it really is.
Because I realize in that, like, my run obviously through that is like the type of experience I had, and I'm expecting like Reggie to kind of just go about his own way on things, and I'll like I said, I'll let him wander. But yeah, I want to be equipped enough to answer a question that is important and be decent at the roles. So I need to make sure that I understand a couple more things than just my run.
Get that wiki up on your phone.
Yeah, it'll be there.
There's no way you can remember where all that shit is.
No, definitely
should be
not.
Noted by the Pat is wrong about Dark Souls spreadsheet.
Definitely not. But this is just it's a thing where like, yeah, I'm not unlike like you and Spy and everyone. Like, I'm not the person who's jumping in here who's done like New Game plus runs with different builds to see how it all goes down. But I don't think that's what Reggie necessarily needs. I think at this point he just needs to touch it and see what this is about anyway.
He just needs somebody to tell him to kill himself in the Nexus every time, and try and let him understand why you have to kill yourself in the Nexus.
So in order to understand that, I have been not killing myself in the Nexus.
Oh no! So you have to feel it.
I've been playing human. And I caught me a nice.
You feel it, huh?
I caught me a nice invasion in 2-1 after activating the elevators. It was a good time. I also, I'm like, yeah, I wanted to just see like exactly how bad it would be, but you can also password up, right? So if you password up, I imagine that'll make things.
I don't think that saves you from invasions. I think it just makes it easier to co-op.
Interesting. Okay. So some things I'm wondering about though with the new setup in this is like of the things they were changing, is it still really hard to, or is it still nigh impossible to max upgrade a weapon with all the given upgrade stones you get in a single run?
No, it is no longer bordering on impossible.
Okay.
So remember the change I mentioned to you last week where lizards can't kill themselves off cliffs and disappear? That ends up giving you way more materials overall because you can actually just go get all the crystals. They also just straight up juiced the drop rates on the pure items. The pure Moonblade, pure Moonstone, and pure Spider Stone, stuff like that.
Okay.
Because they were like 1 in 1,000 drop chance.
Okay. So, for example, like that room underneath 2-1, where
2-2 with there's 7 crystal lizards everywhere.
Behind the 2 red phantoms.
Yeah, it used to be don't go there because most of them will kill themselves and you won't get the goddamn items. Now it's go there whenever the fuck you want and get what you can get.
And you can keep doing it until they're all phased out.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So that's perfect.
Yeah, they made it so that like pure Sharpstone, which was the one that the game straight up didn't give you enough in the. You need 2
mhm,
to max out a weapon, and the game only drops 1.
mhm.
And so you had to farm it from the Black Katana skeletons, which
Yes.
are not they're not a joke.
Yes.
They're not a triviality to farm. But the drop rate has become, instead of taking 4.5 hours to get one, it will maybe now take half an hour.
And the other thing was, like, is obtaining pure white tendency actually as bad as it was before? Because I remember there being something about that where the fact that the servers were around for so long affected how difficult it would be.
Yeah,
and now this is fresh. So
that's what I was talking about last week, but because you didn't have the context, you probably didn't internalize it. And it was that what used to happen is when you hit load game on Demon Souls, it would check the global server average for tendency on every level and set and like move your world tendency towards that by some percentage. So if you had pure white and the rest of the world was literally anything other than pure white, it would come down. And same thing with pure black. So it was a pain in the ass to manage, so everybody played offline if they wanted to manipulate that. There's no longer a nonsense server averaging crap.
mm-hmm.
Did you put it at pure white? It'll fucking stay pure white until you decide to remove it.
Okay. So, yeah, so it shouldn't be too bad or too hard then. Still killing yourself will ensure that you don't lose it. But it's not that hard to get back there if need be.
And I will remind you, I don't know if you ever knew, there is a significant big-ass advantage to playing in pure black tendency. Yes, the stage is a million times harder, but if you've already, like, say you beat all of the quarry, right?
Mm-hmm.
You end up beating Dragon God and you're done with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a significant advantage to going back there and killing yourself there every time you get body form to push it towards pure black, because every level of blackness that you push the world towards gets you better rewards. So every time, so you notice you kill those dudes that have the sacks and they drop like the shards. Like they'll have like 10 shards of various different items, or maybe you'll get like a shard of spider stone off those guys in the tunnel right when you start 2-2.
Yeah, the workers. Yeah.
Those will be in pure black tendency. Most of those will be chunks instead.
Okay, so you go through it again. Okay.
Yeah. But instead, they won't be dropping any healing items anymore. They'll be dropping upgrade materials.
And if you want to push it towards white, you just have to be human and reload the area, right?
No, pushing it towards white is a way. So the reason why everybody pushes it towards pure white is there's only 2 things that you can do to push your game towards pure white. Kill a boss or kill an invader.
Those are the only ways.
It's the only 2 ways.
Okay.
And killing a boss you can do, but there's only 3.
Yeah.
And killing an invader is doable, but if they kill you, then you actually move down. So the way to, you wouldn't be able to do this back in the day, but you can do it pretty easily now. If you were say, hey Pat, I would like to manipulate my world tendency for Reggie's stream, you could say, Pat, are you busy at 6? We will set the password and you invade me and I'll just kill you. And you can force it up to pure white.
Okay. Someone's saying co-op also works in some way.
Co-op, this is so confusing. Co-op will not push the world tendency towards white. Co-op will push your character tendency towards white.
Of course. Right. There's
invading pushes it towards black, and then it is such. So now that you can freely manipulate it, and now that you can freely manipulate it, and the online doesn't screw it up anymore, it's a much better system. It's much more interesting. It's so complex and they one of the changes they made to the game, I don't know if you take a look at the tendency tab in your menu, they changed all the icons to be easier to read. They're even harder to read now.
Well, I was staring at it, and I'm like, I don't know. It was the color of the shape of the middle of the shape, and I'm staring at it now, going, I don't know what that is.
So I just sent you in Discord a picture of all 7 states.
Yeah.
Can you
Demon
tell
Souls.
the difference between 0 and 1? Because I literally can't.
Yeah, it is the slightest encroaching of a shadow on the right side of it. Yeah, and for me the difference between 1 and 2 is worse. But yes, okay. It's just that bad. All right, well,
yeah.
So yeah, that's it. So I was going through it, and I want to also, like, you know, I wanted to be able to see what it was like when, like, areas are cut off, and, like, I was like, right, so that left path in 1-1 is unavailable, or there's an area with downstairs with the rocks that's also cut off, and, you know, all these little things that I wanted to kind of just be like, yes, okay, I'm making note of these bits and pieces so that we can not miss too much content. But in the end, if we do end up missing some content, we're just gonna have to live with it. You know,
you are guaranteed to miss content in that game unless you, like, dramatically manipulate the world state.
I mean, we're gonna see how he does with, like, Ostrava, but I'm anticipating it won't go too well. But obviously the problem to avoid is losing his drop wherever that happens. It's not helping him, right? Like,
so that doesn't happen anymore, thank God.
His drop will never get lost.
No, so it used to be, oh my God, it used to be that if you tried to pick up an item and you couldn't pick it up, and it hit the floor, and it said, well, you can't, you know, you don't have enough storage, and you left, that item would disappear. It would be fucking gone. Now, if you try and pick up an item... No, now if you try and pick up an item and you can't pick it up, you hit start to send it to storage.
Yes, right. Yeah. That, which I've done already when I was carrying around a bunch of rocks, and that shit's great. You know, and I remember there was a ring that was, like, specifically for picking up heavy items. Yeah. Just to you know, whatever, you don't got to do that anymore. What is it that causes items to appear behind you in the Nexus?
I have no idea. I don't think I've had that happen.
Okay, because I started up one time, and there was something right behind me, and I was like, oh, that must have...
That might be what you're talking about.
Something must have gotten lost and returned to me, you know?
Cool.
Okay.
That's a significant improvement if that's the way that works.
I assume that's what it was, you know? But yeah, it was quite...
Man,
it's interesting.
Dramatically improved by the load times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Also, I would say the depth of, like, color, especially, like, HDR, allows you to actually decipher what's in the darkness from what's not darkness, which was a humongous, kind of annoying problem in the prison. It's kind of by
prison
it's by design, I know, but, like,
the prison was bad, but nothing compared to 5.2. 5.2, that big ass swamp, like, it didn't have a very good frame rate, and it was a poison swamp, and you move slow. But the biggest problem was that it was visually almost impossible to see if you were even moving forward. That is no longer the case. It's still a deep, dark, dank shithole with low visibility, but they have added a couple light shafts way in the distance on one side, and you can see the little fires on the wall on the other side, so that at the very least you can go, I'm still moving in the same direction or not. It's a huge improvement.
No, this is one of those. This is one of those bits where it's just like, oh, the technology that is current has improved this aspect. Because even if visually the game were the same, having a broader range of color and of darkness in particular is a massive step up. And you don't have to just like bullshit your brightness up to a degree that you don't want to, that makes things look bad, to get around the problem either.
Yeah, the Valley also had like a bad draw distance.
Hmm.
So there, you actually couldn't. I'm looking at footage now. You actually could not see past a certain point. So there are areas in that swamp that are just like literally like pure darkness in every direction from your character. Like, fuck, that's tough.
Yeah. So that's pretty interesting. I noticed the messaging. I found a bug or two where like you can pull a message up, not dismiss it, and then do some cutscenes and have it stay there the whole time and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
But in the old game, you could rate a message that you left behind a while ago, whereas in this one, I think you got to still be standing next to it. So that's a bit of the most minor of like downgrades for that aspect.
Did you know the game has a pause mode?
Photo mode. Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. You can pause the game. You can pause it now.
It does not stop invasions. If you get invaded, it knocks your ass out of photo mode.
Oh. But as long as you're in, you continue to be wow. That's fucking hilarious, because they did not want you to be able to pause, but now by necessity it's there.
Yeah. And it's goofy as well. I genuinely think that like any game that FromSoft themselves make will never have a photo mode, because more than the pause feature is the ability to look around corners you shouldn't be able to see.
Okay.
Like you can walk like, I don't know, like 30 feet away from your character and just look.
Photo mode zooms out and lets you like manipulate like a full.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All over the place.
Right. That's no good. That is no good. Because talking to fucking what's his name, the shopkeep from the mines there, the dude you meet right away, when you're talking to him just beneath the patches area, like I remember it's like while the conversation's going, you're hearing the buzzing of the lava flies coming up behind your ass.
Oh yeah.
And you better be fucking like listening and noticing, because you can start taking hits and the thing won't even kick you out. You'll just take damage and die mid-conversation.
In the middle of the conversation, yeah.
Sleeping, So, okay, that's interesting. Well,
so it's one of those things, like playing through it now, because you fucked around with Bloodborne. You've seen at the very least like the latest game, which would be Dark Souls 3, I think. And I'm starting to actually understand. Like, I've made fun of Plague in the past for disliking Bloodborne and disliking the style that the newer games went to, because they're too fast. And I always thought that he was like overdoing it. Going back to playing Demon's Souls after watching Paige play Dark Souls 3 the night prior, they're bordering on different genres at this point. It's crazy. Like, Dark Souls 3 is like an action game.
Yeah, well, it's hyper versus like tradish slow, right? Like, yeah, you got your Street Fighter 2, you got your Marvel, you got your Sam Show.
Like my personal preference is I actually like all of them, but like I can see exactly what he's talking about in that, like, Demon's Souls, how do I put this? Demon's Souls is not an action game. Enemies have massive vulnerabilities and will stop attacking you for long periods so that you can get up behind them and backstab them and just leave themselves open constantly.
Or you can shove
them.
But
if they touch you, you're going to die. Right? Like, and then you get to Dark Souls or a Bloodborne, and like you're trading hits, and it's an action game.
But it's also genre refinement, in the sense that any game starts out one way, and as people get good at that thing, the challenge has to increase. So we've seen it with kart racing games. We've seen it with, obviously, with fighting games. We've seen it with like just about every genre where people get highly specialized and good at specific things, so that the system has to keep making room for higher demand. And so it makes sense that the games ended up being faster. You know,
the Demon Souls equivalent to that is what, you running a character using a shield?
Yeah.
Is it a parryable shield?
Yeah.
Is parrying not a complete joke in this game?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
it's like trivially easy compared to the way that it was in later games, and that just kills enemies outright most of the time.
In a lot of cases, it's pretty fucking strong.
You get to the final boss of World 5, and he's, it's Garl with that big hammer. That huge overhead's really easy to parry. You do that 3 times, he's dead, and that's the boss fight. And that was a problem that Gwyn had in Dark Souls 1, where the easiest way to beat him was to just parry him with your hand.
Though, I'm now feeling it as well. Backstabbing still is less like snappy than it used to be in the later games. So
yeah, they've been messing around with that. Over every game has had a slightly different backstab.
Yeah, but like but because of the parry and backstab change, you're better off face fucking a couple of enemies than you are trying to get around them in some instances.
Yeah.
You know,
it's interesting. I wonder. I assume Elden Ring will play like more like Sekiro. Honestly,
I wouldn't
Sekiro's
be surprised.
fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's an overall like game feel that is like locking on to things in the environment, not being told what's around every corner, and not being allowed to make too many mistakes. That is going to be maintained, obviously. But yeah, the Sekiro proved that they're willing to depart pretty far from Souls expectations, especially if they're like, fuck it, we want to make Tenchu again, but Tenchu's a dead franchise. Let's just do this, you know?
Demon Souls is just so weird because it's like there's things in it that are so different that they feel like the kind of ideas a sequel would add. Like the world structure is probably the best one, except for Dark Souls
breaking
1.
it up into separate areas.
Like, do you want to start here? Do you want to go here? Do you want to go here? You want to fight this boss? What boss do you want? Like, it's great.
Looping it all back to one bonfire, technically, instead of
yeah, that's crazy. Going through it. Paige was watching me play, and she's like, well, when do you get to another, checkpoint? I'm like, there's one per level.
Yeah.
And it's the boss that gives it to you.
Exactly.
And that's it.
And if that boss happens to be 10 feet from where you started, then the second checkpoint is right there, and you can see them. That's it. But no, I'm fucking loving it and having a blast. And I also, have not played one of these games in a long enough period of time that I kind of felt, and I haven't went back to pop one in to revisit either, so I'm just enjoying the overall leveling up process and building out the character and deciding how to play it, and and I'm making mistakes. I might be putting things dumping stats into the wrong place and finding out the hard way what some of these decisions lead to, but that's also how I kind of, I guess, internalize why we should be going one way or another,
Hey, now that you got a PS5 and you've been playing Demon's Souls, let me ask you how you feel about this controller.
Fucking fantastic. Really good. The only non-issue, there's 2 non-issues I'm having. And I'm labeling them as non-issues because that's exactly what they are. The first non-issue is every time I want to either go to the home menu or pull up the not home menu, I'm getting the opposite because they've reversed what holding a long press and tapping a short press do.
Totally have. You're 100% right.
So that's fucking me up every single time. it used to be hold for for small menu, tap for long menu, and now it's the other way around. So god damn it. At that we'll just have to get used to it. And the second one is I'm used to sweeping my thumb up from the bottom of in between the analog sticks in order to hit that PS button. But now when I do it, I hit the mute button on the mic instead. So that secondary button placement in the location under the PS button is accidentally causing me to hit that when I mean to hit the PS button. Non-issues. Super duper minor. We'll get used to them with time. But nonetheless, those are the closest things I have to complaints about it.
I love that microphone button. I absolutely love it. Thank you, darling.
If I played games that used the microphone, I'm sure I would love it too.
So here's why I love it. When you go into the settings, and you can do this if you like, and set the microphone to literally always turn off the second you log in to your PlayStation, the fucking button glows orange to let you know, dude, don't worry, you're muted.
Nice.
Which, man, so when you are muted, it glows. Which, good, because I want to be muted. I don't want to be playing the Apex Legend and have the default setting be, mic talk and me like be talking shit about whatever, and people are like, oh my god, is that Pat? Why are you talking shit about whatever? I'm like, no, that's embarrassing. I want to privately talk shit about my teammates and scream at them in a constructive way, in that you get toxic where no one can hear you.
I would like it
but
if
more than that, by the way, it records you when you get your trophies.
Oh, that thing. Yeah, sure.
It records your voice.
Uh-huh.
As well as your video when you get trophies.
Having a big gamer moment going, yeah, look, we did it. It's totally what's going to happen, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It would be nice if we can get an option to, change those press functions. It'd be nice if I could do a particularly long press to go straight to a turn off the controller type thing, or turn off the game, turn off the system, etc. Because or even just changing the usage of the power button. Because now that I'm not using rest mode, every time you press the power button physically on its face, it automatically goes to rest mode.